Hello, Maximus here, and this is a battle that I'm a bit excited to show and talk about because I was using a themed army as Carthage, where the idea was that I would bring an African army, so mainly African troops, with units that I rarely use, like the Libyan peltasts and the African war elephants. So I have 6 Libyan infantry, 2 Numidian nobles, I think 5 late Libyan hoplites, and that's it basically. A very simple composition. My enemy has, let's just pause it for a bit here. He has a front line consisting of evocatis, legionaries, and evocati. He has velites, Balearic slingers, Syrian archers, so I'm going to have to be careful with my elephants. A stati in the rear with some equites, and he also has 3 Turiarii, so I definitely thought that I would have to play very intelligently in order to beat this Roman force with my African force. But that kind of fits the theme of Hannibal, often having the numbers and the odds stacked against him, but being able to pull out a decisive victory nevertheless. Now, the idea here is to use the cheap Libyan hoplites to present a line here for the missiles to spend their ammo on. And then I basically just want to use my peltasts to shoot at anything that's available, so slingers or the Syrian archers, because they will be very problematic for my elephants, which I'm keeping way back. I'm just going to swing the Numidians wide around here and keep them there until the late game. Hopefully my opponent won't chase after them, and just keep his cavalry here. So my opponent is moving forward. I was originally just intending to put the Libyans here, but seeing how far he moves forward, I'm thinking, maybe I can catch some of these guys. So I'm going to try to run them forward, and I'm also going to try to draw the Pila fire from these legionary cohorts to make them expend those. So since he's moving so close, I'm just going to give attack orders here, and I'm actually going to catch some of these Balearic slingers because my opponent was inattentive, maybe at skirmishing off, and I'm going to get just a few kills on them here with the Libyans. So already they are proving fairly useful as throwaway units. Now it begins. Let's see if my opponent takes the bait and starts shooting at my guys here. And there we go, some Pila fire coming, so that's good. Make them expend the Pila on the cheap units with good armor. And I'm just going to present them here, and he is actually going to shoot at them with his Syrians and Balearics. So just have at it, knock yourself out. Just going to move them a bit forward, and now it looks like they have expended their Pila, so that's good. Now I'm making a mistake here because I didn't notice that my Libyan peltasts kind of blobbed up and went into a thick formation there. They weren't supposed to do that. They were supposed to stay spread out, and this line should be here so that I could throw more effectively over. As you can see, some of the shots are just hitting these. They seem to want to hit these legionaries, which there really isn't much point in doing that. But I gave attack orders here, as you can see, but for some reason they are attacking here. So that's kind of a bug, I guess, because they should be able to fire over here. But over here they're doing well against these Balearics, killing them off quite nicely, hitting some Syrians over there as well. So I'm just moving up my Libyan infantry. Now I am waiting for charge, but I guess my opponent is wary of my elephants, rightly so. So he's going to stay in this defensive formation. So noticing that, I'm going to start to outflank him. He's sending his Estati down here to meet my Libyan hoplites, and I'm very happy about this because this means that I'm going to be able to start to outflank him a bit. So I'm just going to leave a holding force here and start to move my guys around like this, so I can move in at a later point. And the Syrian archers are dropping quite nicely, but it would be even better if I had lined my peltas up in longer lines. And my Numidians are just chilling at the back there, waiting for their moment of glory, and believe me, it will come. It will definitely come. So I'm moving up my elephants, now that his skirmishers are being pushed back, and he's pushing his lines a bit back here. So now he's moving forward, so I'm just going to go into phalanx. I thought he was moving forward, but he isn't. So I'm going to keep these guys here as a holding force. And they are still just peppering away with their pila, so they had some left, but that's fine. They can spend them on my Libyan hoplites. So my opponent is really giving me good time to set up this sort of envelopment. So I'm just going to attack the terraria here to give him something to think about. And while I do that, I'm going to go for actually going to try to rear charge them here with my Libyan peltasts. So it's going to work somewhat, which is going to pull down his equites, which is going to enable me to attack his equites. So I want his cavalry gone and I want his skirmishers gone, so my elephants can rampage through his lines there. So the Hastati not really dying quickly, but my guys are doing well here, so I'm able to move through and attack the Hastati, and the equites are pulling out, but they took some losses. And now I'm able to do some interesting things here against his skirmishers. Now I can attack his Syrian archers, and you can see since they took damage from the peltasts, they are dying, so that's very good. I'm pulling in his triarii, and now my Libyan infantry are coming in from the side. And while this has been happening, I've been charging with my charging up here with my Libyan infantry, getting a nice angle on his Evocati and his Hastati. And now it begins. Now my mercenary Numidian cavalry is going to wreck his equites here. As you can see, they are quite deadly when shooting from behind at the cavalry, and they have pretty good armor. Boy, look at that guy, he survived a javelin through the shoulder, and there he went down. Javelin to the horse, didn't like that. So I'm able to really massacre them with my Numidian nobles here. He's going into cavalry testudo, but a little too late, I think. And now my Libyan infantry are free to attack his velites here, and my Libyan infantry are well matched up against the triarii, and these Hastati are holding their own against the onslaught here. The Evocati cohort are doing well against my Libyan infantry, but they would do even better if they had Pila left. So I'm just hoping that my guys can hold here until I can bring my elephants all the way around and into his formation here. But he still has some archers and stuff left that has been shooting on my elephants, so I'm going to have to be careful. The Numidian nobles are just shooting at targets of opportunity, taking out his equites. I think they almost single-handedly took out his cavalry force here. And now I'm going to try to go for his legatus, I think. No, still just shooting at the equites, trying to get some velites. Now I'm even getting some rear charges here, so his archers are very soon completely out of the picture. They are running, but they are meeting my troops wherever they go. So I'm setting up my elephants. I'm going to just remove these velites so they aren't able to get any shots off on my elephants. Some javelins in there, and then just ride them down with the Numidian nobles. The Numidian nobles are decent melee cavalry. They have 44 melee defense and a pretty awesome 65 melee attack. Not too shabby weapon damage either, good charge bonus, but they are fragile. So here it comes. Now I'm going to have to, so this is why I wanted to remove his cavalry. Now he managed to stop the charge from my elephants fairly effectively just by riding 9 equites over there. And here comes the triarii, but they are not in formation and they are not braced. So I'm able to do what I want to and rampage, and here come the kills. Straight into the center, and now I'm going to get a huge morale debuff on all these guys. And the legionary cohort, which were doing fine up until now, are not doing so fine, and they are dropping quite substantially. My elephants are racking up the kills, which is good, but still he has Trioria left and his main line is holding strong, while my Libyan infantry are really struggling against these legionaries. They are really struggling. Now they are getting quite a few kills, but there are just so many Romans to kill that they are having trouble downing them all. But my elephants are doing well here. They are able to push through, but they're getting stopped now. And of course, a lot depends on these elephants. And now they're running amok, but that's fine because they're running amok with behind his lines. And I don't have very many troops that he can hit there, so they're running amok through this line of legionaries, and they're starting to die. Running amok over here, right in his center, so this is actually very good for me that they're running amok here into the legionary cohort, and they should start to drop as well. You can see the elephant is increasing his kills substantially, getting over 300 kills now, and now my Numidian nobles are charging any remaining missiles to increase the survivability of my elephants, charging his legatus, which should also impact their morale somewhat. So now I was able to win this entire flank, and now I'm free to charge in with my guys. But it's very, very close. The elephants are dropping quite substantially. Triarii are moving in towards my Numidian nobles, so I have to pull them out. Libyan infantry charging downhill into this Evocati cohort, and that means they're gonna have a bad day at work. My mercenary Numidians are wavering here because the general died, I guess, but they are coming back. I was able to pull them out of that situation. And the Evocati cohort is going down because they were attacked in the rear. And here we go, getting rear charges off with the Numidians. The Hastati should start to drop. Yep, starting to drop now. But he's moving all of these guys and some very dangerous Triarii up, so I have to just keep cycle charging. This Libyan infantry is attacking these Hastati in the flank, so that's nice. Moving up my Libyan infantry here, but they are tired. But so are the legionnaires. So now it's very, very close. I am in a good position since I have cavalry left. He has no cavalry left, but he has his Triarii. They are extremely dangerous. He also has Evocati, but his Evocati are out of Pila. So I'm able to use the Pila on my Libyans to inflict kills. And these Libyans over here are being absolute bosses and holding off Triarii and Hastati. Over here as well, the legionary cohort is starting to struggle with these Libyans. So now I'm just baiting his Triarii around, pulling out here, and moving around the biggest force of horse. And so he's going into square formation there, which is fine. So I'm just moving back here and getting a rear charge on both of these units with my Numidian. And this is very important. He's moving his Triarii in, but not quickly enough to stop this rear charge, and you can see they are very wounded, so they are starting to waver almost instantly. The Hastati up here don't like being charged by cavalry, and this is going to make my Libyans mop up the remaining legionnaires. And I'm able to cycle charge fairly effectively, getting a lot of kills on these Numidian nobles. But more importantly than their kills is the morale damage they were able to do, and that they were able to pave the way for my elephants. So the Hastati broken, the Triarii will now get surrounded by swords very soon. And I'm just charging the Triarii now because it's rear charges, and they are not too happy about their situation. And now the battle is over. We managed to mop up this, surround the Triarii. So overall I was very happy with this battle, how it went. I wasn't too sure about the army because as you can see the Libyan peltasts didn't do too well, but they contributed, definitely contributed. But the Libyan hoplites contributed by soaking up fire, soaking up damage, while my Libyan infantry did really well, I think, matched up against these good Roman units. If you had more Evocati instead of Hastati and legionary cohorts, this battle could have gone differently, but as you can see he didn't get too many kills on his Evocati, and his legionnaires did almost as well as they did, but his cavalry was able to neutralize it. His Syrian archers mainly got kills on these cheap units, same with the Balearic slingers, and the Velites barely did anything. So it was quite interesting to challenge myself with a build that is, well, let's be honest, it's very similar to what I usually bring, but the thing was that it was supposed to be a themed army with mainly African troops, and all these troops are Africans. So you can argue that the Carthaginian troops all are Africans, of course, except for the Celts and the Gauls and the Iberians, the Italians. But here I went for mainly Libyan and Numidian troops, which were fairly effective, I must say. I think my opponent could have done a number of things differently. He should have just turned off fire at will for his um, his infantry, and he should just not have bothered with my late Libyan Hoplites, because as you can see they don't get very many kills. He could have ignored them, and I also think he should have tried to catch my Numidians with his Equites. Although they are inferior, me being able to keep these Numidians alive really helped in the late game. So maybe he could have sent a Triarii and his Legatus and stuff against these Numidians. That would probably have been a good idea. But all in all, one of the more fun battles I've had tonight. And with that, I think I'm calling it quits. I'm very happy with that battle, and hope to see you again soon for more, hopefully interesting battles.